Hey guys, this is Nefis here, and today we're going to be doing a very interesting video. I've actually been requested to kind of do something similar to this, but I put my own little twist on it. A lot of people actually ask me on my YouTube videos or my Discord why, hey, how come I don't ever really see you on the forums or post anything much on the forums? I personally don't really like going to the ESO forums or even the ESO Reddit. I just don't really, A, have the time, or B, I don't really like the type of atmosphere either board sort of has. I mean, it's pretty nice to advertise things out there on the forums or Reddit, but I personally don't really spend much time doing stuff on the forums or Reddit because I'm doing more stuff in game. With that said, I sometimes post my videos in the player guide section, and that's pretty much it. Occasionally, if it's something like really special, like a really special project I did, like interviewing the raid leads video, then yeah, I do post stuff like that. Or if I have a really strong opinion on something, sure, I I will post in the forums to voice my opinion, just like anyone else. I think that last time I did something like that was when Woler, no, no, not Woler, sorry, Rubble. Rubble said something, and I was like, well, what does that mean? And I had to ask him on the forums about something. But anyway, today we're going to be just exploring the forums. A lot of in-game people treat the forums like a very toxic cesspool, which is ironic because a lot of the people on the forums think the in-game community, both PvP and PvE, are really toxic, but likewise the in-game community also thinks the forums are a pretty toxic place, especially yeah, pretty much. But yeah, let's just go over it. I just picked random threads from the forums from each different section, not every section, just a few of them, and we'll be reading over them. And if these are like question threads, I'll just answer them in my own way as well, or just react to them. So the first thread, my ebony flask in room. I know I'm quite late to the party, but ever since Vardenfell came out on the BTS, I've been putting all my house decorating on hold. Okay, until I managed to get all the Vardenfell recipes. That is dedication. That's that's pretty dedicated. And then so as to not limit my decorating due to not having the recipe or item I wanted. Oh, okay, so he basically got all the recipe, the Vardenfell furnishing plans and such, and now he made the furniture. And then he's decorating the ebony flask in room. Well, let's see what it looks like. Okay, so he was going for a hotel room look, and I'm actually a little impressed. He definitely got it right. The hotel desk, the hotel chair, the obligatory, very uncomfortable hotel couch or recliner. Get the hotel cabinet next to the bed, and the hotel bed itself. I don't think hotels have rugs like this, but no, we'll go with it. We'll just say it's a very fancy hotel. And we got, of course, the free coffee, and the free, well, not the free, well, I guess sometimes free water bottles, I guess. And he did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job. And yeah, he is right. The furnishing item limit for this room is pretty small. It's a pretty small space. I'd probably spend a day or two in there if it's like a hotel. But let's move on to the next thread. Pretty well done, whoever this was. Carbonized, I believe. Well done on your decoration. Oh, okay. Alliance War. I guess I didn't really pick anything from Alliance War. Well, let's do this. What PvP used to be like. If you want to feel nostalgic of old PvP when the game came out, check out this video. It's 3-6 versus Zergs with really high rolling AP ticks. Huh? Everyone has 810 CP in this video. What am I supposed to feel nostalgic for? Last Friday. Well, let's see the video. Let's see the video. Oh yeah, sweet tunes, dude. Damn, the Bruma farm. Pretty decent line of sighting. We're not gonna watch the whole video, but I just wanted to see what it's like. It used to be basically like, I mean, he says it's like a long time ago, but if it was a really long time ago, he'd be the only guy in the video, not with a group. 1vxing was a lot more possible back then, around Imperial City patch, before Imperial City patch. Nowadays, you have to have a group with you. Or, I guess you can do 1vx, but not as against as many people as you used to. Oh, pretty cool video. Clearly, you're a Somerset bug. 3 p.m. last Tuesday is a rare vintage. I love some of the replies on this thread. Not a video, but you want to see what PvP used to be like? Take flight, shooting stars. That's a pretty accurate summary of just PvP in general. That's a pretty good thread. Alright, next thread, I think this is coming from the Crown Store in ESO Plus section. Why no Wamasu mount? Actually, this question's been on my mind for quite a while. The Unit 117 is right. Why isn't there a Wamasu mount? That's pretty strange. We've got a Kaguri mount, we've got a Guar mount, but we don't have a Wamasu mount. That's pretty cool. Never thought of that, but that would be cool. I feel like everyone's been like suggesting or wanting a Wamasu mount since 3 years ago, or at least. A Durzog mount would be cool too. That's kind of weird because Durzogs are supposed to be like dogs, so I guess some people do ride their big dogs in real life. So I want a cow mount. A Manticore mount. Oh, I would definitely buy the shit out of the Manticore mount. I don't care how many crowns that would be. Like, I would buy it for like 10,000 crowns. Like, Sanctum Ophidia is a real man's trial. Alright, moving on to the next thread. What exactly am I looking at? Jode's core. So this is actually, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't really done the Ellsworth main quest line. You actually get transported to a, not a planet, but the moon, one of the two primary moons in the universe of the Elder Scrolls. And this is Jode. You actually get teleported. I don't know how you breathe on the moon, but I guess the moon somehow has the same atmospheric makeup as Nern. But anyway, it's pretty cool part of the quest where you get to like see Jode's core, like the actual moon, the core of the moon. It's actually pretty cool that they teleported you to what I assume is the moon, literally one of the moons. It's pretty cool. It's a pustulant boil Lorcan spot. Honestly, it looks like a lot like what a Neuron star is supposed to look like. Yeah, but I don't think Jode is a Neuron star. I'm pretty sure it's the moon, and that's just like the core of the moon, somehow exposed through the layers of the crust. Okay, moving on to the next thread. Okay, it looks like we're getting serious in combat and character mechanics thread section. Inner fire is too expensive. I believe one of the reasons more people don't play as a tank on this game is that the role itself is too restrictive when it comes to build options. Debatable. One small way to help with that would be to make inner fire cheaper to use, and I mean way more cheaper. Currently, this move is just too difficult to sustain, especially if the tank is consistently using other Magicka-based abilities, and there are multiple enemies that need to be taunted. So I actually went over this in a previous video about soft taunts and aggro in this game. If you guys want to check out that video, I'll have the link down in the description below. But honestly, it's perfect, in my opinion, the way it is. I feel like a ranged taunt should be a bit more expensive than a melee taunt, and you shouldn't be able to spam inner fire. If you build your tanks right, it doesn't matter. You don't really need the best in slot or what's referred to as meta builds to sustain both Magicka cost abilities and inner fire. I mean, I literally have a Necromancer tank guide that tells you, hey, this is how you do it. It's really Magicka intensive, but here's how you get these stats. Here's how you use this. And here's how you consistently use inner fire while making sure you have enough Magicka to have enough for burst heal, your roots, and so on and so on. So I disagree with Jeremy's conclusion that inner fire is one of the reasons why people don't tank. The reasons why people don't tank in this game, it's probably the smallest demographic in terms of the population, like tanking or tanks. It's like tanks are the least amount, then healers, then DPS. Well, DPSing is fun. Let's be real here. Compared to healing or tanking, I find it more fun than those two rules. Healing still as active as DPSing at times, and it's easier. In my opinion, it's probably the easiest role to master in the Elder Scrolls Online for both foreman content, arena content, and trial content. So that's tank. It's like sometimes the hardest role, and sometimes in between the DPS and healing roles. But I believe the reason why people don't like to tank in this game is because it's not fun to them. I mean, I found it fun at times, but after a while, a lot of tanks I used to know, they just sort of get sick of doing the same thing over and over again. Builds wise, it's not restrictive. I mean, it really depends on what content you want to run and what you want to achieve with your group. So I don't know how Jeremy came to this conclusion, but I will respect his opinion. Let's see, I'm not going to disagree with you, blah, blah, blah. Can pull chains. Well, I don't know what he's saying. It's not meant to be a main taunt, it's a backup for Pierce armor. I disagree. I disagree. I hate to keep beating the dead horse on this, but my Necro main tank builds don't really use both taunts. It just either uses a ransack or inner fire. That's it. You don't need you don't really need both taunts as a Necro tank. But anyway, let's move on. I feel like we spend a lot more time on this thread than the other threads. The cost of corn flour. Okay, this is gonna be a good one. I am probably gonna be ridiculed by some people for this, but can we please find a way to lower the cost of corn flour? The prices are becoming ridiculously high for it. I know the story of why it rose in the first place. There's actually a couple stories, but please stop raising the price. It's like begging the players. Zenimax, can you please add more corn flour spawn points to help lower the cost, or can we all just agree not to raise it anymore? Cheers, Shadow. Okay, so one of the stories behind why corn flour, particularly, I don't know if it's the same on PCU, but on PCNA it's gone up pretty damn high, to the point where even Hollow City and what was it? Hollow. There's a potion guild that sells potions to its members for cheaper, HCHC. It's gotten so expensive to the point that even they're selling it at a very increased price prior to like 2 or 3 months ago. One of the stories is that the people who've been selling their crowns, well, some of them, not all of them, obviously, they made so much gold that they can just afford to buy up everything, including corn flour, and resell it at a higher price. So that's one of the stories. I'm sure there's other factors involved, and while I do sort of see the problem in, just a problem solely in the fact that you can sell crowns for gold now, and that's allowed, that's sort of a problem that should be addressed sometime soon, I think. There's other factors behind why the corn flour has gone up. If people stop buying it, the price will go down. Your answer is right there. Convince people to stop paying the high prices. Yes and no. I mean, I feel like a lot of people pay gold more for convenience, saying that you can farm it. You can farm it yourself. You can go to IC and try to get Telvar and get those apothecary satchels, or you can go to like a zone and just go around the circuit and farm corn flour, but it's mostly convenience, and I don't think people are going to stop paying these high prices anytime soon. It's a supply and demand equation. I wouldn't say the demand for spell power pots have really gone up compared to before elsewhere, or that more people are playing more Magic. I feel like more people are playing more Stamina. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the general population, in terms of the total population, maybe more Magic builds are going around, but I don't know about that. So go farm corn flour to supply your own needs. Sure, yep, pretty much. The DPS salt mine. Well, why do I have a feeling? Why do I have a bad feeling about this thread? All right, so these are all threads I took from the front page of their respective sections. So the title interested me. So let me preface this, that this is me venting at the DPS role. Only this time it's not me being salty about doing 18k DPS when the supposed standard is 25k. Okay, well, I think the standard of... I found a couple things wrong with this first sentence. The standard... What's the standard DPS you should be doing in ESO? Some people have asked me this like a couple weeks ago. Hey, what should I be doing on X class or whatever? It really depends on where you're doing DPS. Like, you're not gonna have raid buffs in a 4-man dungeon, right? Are you in a trial? Is your group good? Are your healers giving you the necessary buffs along with the tanks and so on and so on? There's so many factors behind how much you should be doing. But generally, a lot of people in the endgame PvE community, when they're parsing on the Iron Atronach, I mean, it's anywhere between 85 to almost 100,000 100,000 DPS, like at most, at the absolute most. So that's the standard. If the standard right now for most players is 25,000, that can be raised a lot higher, probably with a bit more practice. So I don't know where he got the standard from. So I thought I'd do a dungeon with my girlfriend, hopefully, so she and I can start doing dungeons together and have a good time. Good time. But the first dungeon we go to, Wayrest 2 on veteran, after a while some dude wants to kick her out. Why? Because I'm doing 80% DPS. Okay, well, this pretty much upset her and made her log out, and this annoys both her and me. Her because she has some of the better magical DPS gear, Mother Sorrow, Juliana's, courtesy for me. I mean, it sounds like a decent setup. And even when she's trying her best, she doesn't do enough damage, according to the Dillweed, who was crying about doing 80% DPS. And it annoys me because I hate it when people try to make her upset, as it should be with any decent spouse. Okay, so I thought about making this thread to vent a bit and maybe see if anyone would be interested in joining me and her. Preferably someone who won't throw tantrums over DPS, PC, if anyone's wondering. Okay, so I don't understand the problem. So there's not enough information for me to say, okay, well, you know what I mean? Like, what level are they? Are they full CP? Are they what CP are they? I understand that you'll meet a few assholes in this game. I find generally most of the community in ESO, both PvP and PvE, in fact, are pretty positive. They will help you out if you ask for help. The people who ridicule you for asking for help, or whatever, they're not. I wouldn't say they're representative of the entire community. In fact, it's probably the most friendly community I've come across in terms of a game. So I don't have enough information. Obviously, gonna have troubles with a pug. I mean, Dungeon Group Finder is like a toss of the die. It's a gamble. Let's see. Well, people are saying someone is doing 3 to 5k DPS. Wait a minute. So he does. Okay, so the guy does 18k DPS. What about his girlfriend? I don't know. But if he's only doing 18k DPS, there's 2 reasons behind why he would be doing 18k DPS. One, he doesn't have enough champion points somehow. He doesn't have the correct gear or the correct CP, so there's a lot of variables. Or 2, he just isn't trying. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the thread is really about. I'm guessing you were tanking. Okay. This just comes with pugs, lots of people being jerks. True. Okay. Well, honestly, this just seems like a very boring thread so far. I mean, it was called the DPS salt mine, dude. And I was like, oh man, maybe there's something juicy on the forums for once. Wayrest 2 is not the hardest. I mean, yeah, see, people are being nice, I think. Both sides, there's both sides. Yeah, I don't know. But, the Calgert, the guy who posted the thread, I mean, all he has to do is either grind up more or look up guides or something, anything. There's a plethora of so much information on YouTube. Just YouTube. There's so many builds and so many content creators that, even like old ones that have stopped creating content that can help you out with improving your DPS. So, yeah, I would definitely suggest to this guy, check those guys out, check those builds out. Next thread, changes in terms of service. I think this is an old one actually. Okay, so after today's patch, I have to accept your new terms of service with no hint at the changes since last time. Do you guys at ZOS Legal Service know that this type of practice has been ruled illegal in France? And probably all of the European Union, you have to list the changes from the previous version in a clear way so we can give an informed answer. Okay, so I think this ties into the huge overreaction to the new existence of ESO logs, where it just takes your combat data and makes it available to the public, or if you don't want to make it public, you can upload it as private. But a lot of people were outraged over the fact that, hey, that's a violation of my privacy. That's my private information. You can't do that. That's illegal. Like, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but you have to think about this logically. You really, like, do you really think a company like, especially a big company like ZeniMax, which is under ZeniMax Media, I believe, and like Bethesda, like, you would think they would do their research on this. They're not gonna just be like, all right, let's just do that and hope for the best. They have lawyers, they have everything. They've obviously looked into all of this, so there's no there's really no fighting. I feel like, I mean, they obviously take the steps to make sure everything is correct, legal, and if somehow they mess up, they have enough money to fix it, in terms of legalities, most likely. And we got the community ambassador here showing them that they did actually let them know. It really doesn't matter anyway, if you agree or don't agree with the new terms of service, because you have to accept it in terms of service to play the game. It's not technically your property. Your ESO account is technically not your property. Once you agree to the terms of service and so on, it's like, okay, I agree to these terms. I agree that my account is forfeit at the discretion of the company, and that's it. That's what you agree to when you agree to these terms of services. That, okay, hey, here you go. I just want to play the game. That's it. Once you accept, it's over. And the last thread: Meteor is terrible in 2019. Okay, too long didn't read. Remove delay on impact from Meteor. Early this morning, I fighting this AD group at Glade. I'd run into the same Necro who kept using Meteor. The damage was pathetic because I would just block it. Now imagine for a moment and you went to Dawnbreaker or leap someone, but they knew your plan a full second before it fired. So they blocked in anticipation. What would be the point of slotting those ultimates? Remove delay on impact from Meteor. It's already expensive and no one uses it seriously anymore. Make Meteor great again. Oof. This is actually maybe a valid point to raise. What are people's suggestions? The whole point of Meteor is the delay, which allows people to combine it with other skills for burst damage. We need different ultimates in this game. I'm not even gonna touch this topic, dude. I'm not even gonna touch this topic. I think it has its place currently. Maybe some skills do need an update, but I think, well, this is strictly in terms of PvP, so I'm not even gonna touch this. But yeah, I think we'll end it there, guys. I think that's the last forum thread I'm going to be looking at for today. If you guys have any suggestions for a similar video like this, or if you want to see more of this, let me know down in the comments below or in my Discord server. And as always, stay safe, have fun, and see you guys next time.